Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to the Slowest Blitz, where we are playing Asphodel. It's turn 64, and this is a pretty chill turn, but we get to see some really interesting tech, actually, that I think is one of the coolest pieces of tech that I've seen in a while. So I'm kind of excited about that. Anyways, we do a lot of random site searching just because we're passing the time. We only get a hit on this Dark Knowledge, but we do find a Witch's Bog and an Enchanted Tomb, so that's +2 death and 1 water, so pretty happy about that. It brings our death up to, I believe, 8, so maybe we can start messing around with that a little bit. We discover a bunch of scouts, because we're now patrolling all over the place, right? We've got a bunch of little Carrion stacks just patrolling all over everywhere. You know, we're not really trying to catch scouts, we're trying to catch, I guess monks are a good catch because we don't want him preaching us down. But mostly we're trying to just catch little raiding parties. Our stacks will probably get obliterated often by doing that, but we're generating enough mannequins now. Again, something we should have been doing 20 turns ago. We're generating enough mannequins now that when a stack of 100 or 200 gets squished, it's not the end of the world. It still doesn't feel good, but it's not the end of the world. So, and if we bait him, if man, you know, takes that as I'll just go around stomping all these stacks and then it'll be painful. Well, if he decides to do that, then we might be able to bait him into attacking with, like, a decently large force of, like, Kushis or Knights of Avalon or something like that, and then maybe we can do something to squish that stack, right? Like that type of thing. So anyways, this is the tech. Let's actually take a look at this. This is really kind of cool. So Vanarus has officially started attacking Abysia, right? Abysia put up Second Sun a few turns ago. The lobby in general is quite displeased by it. I wouldn't say there's been like a lot of argument. There's been like argumentation over mechanics, basically, and how the mechanics actually function and yada yada yada, etc. etc. But people are definitely like, damn it, you. So Vanarus has been like, okay, well, you're dead. So Vanarus is attacking. This is into the cave, so this is just a little bit of PD, human bread, from Abysia. And human bread's fine, right? Especially for underground, right? Above ground, kind of less so because their protection's pretty low and their defense isn't really very high, and they hit a little hard, but not super hard. So they're kind of mid, you know? But underground, they have dark vision, you know, that really helps them, you know, do the deed. So, not the worst PD. But we don't care about that. We care about the tech. So you can see a very, like, I don't think I've ever seen this before, right? Using little thugs, obviously, right? Like, that's a quintessential part of Dominion. But these particular thugs and the way they're being kitted out is really fucking cool to me. So, what we have here are 2 Bone Tribe headhunters with a pretty robust kit on these boys, but for a very specific purpose. The purpose is that Bone Tribe headhunters aren't especially good, honestly. They don't have especially good stats. They don't have a lot going for them, but they do have Berserker 4 as a base. And with the +2 berserking in Vanarus's Bless and the Hellsword giving +3, that puts them up to +9 Berserker. Which is just what? So this is a really cool, like, little piece of thug tech that I think is a lot of fun. So we got the Hellsword, right? It's gonna give fire resistance, which Vanarus already has fire res in his bless, and these guys are sacred, so this is an important thing, right? Like, these guys are sacred. So he has fire tech, he has fire resistance in his bless. So with the Hellsword, these things are going to have very high fire resistance if they were blessed. I don't even know. Actually, I don't think they're gonna get blessed. Yeah, they're not gonna get blessed. Oh, that's even funnier. Okay, so they get the Berserking 9, I guess, because Berserker is just on all blessed units or all sacred units, whether you're blessed or not. Is that really how that works? I didn't realize Berserker was like larger. Is that how that works, whether you're blessed or not? Interesting. Alright, whatever. Hellsword, fire resistance is going to boost the Berserking. It's a two-handed weapon, so it hits decently hard, right? But they don't have especially high strength to kind of like start with. So not hitting like crazy hard, not hitting in like the 40s and 50s or anything like that. But, you know, hitting a respectable 29. But it has partial life drain, so the each hit is going to help keep the headhunter alive and unfatigued. You have a horned helmet for really good head protection, but also for an extra attack, a gore, because normally these guys are only going to have one attack. Have jade armor for bonus HP, decent body protection, but not the greatest. But specifically quickness, right? So a lot of attacks. T shoes again for attacks. Chi shoes, key shoes. Chi, because key would just be ki. Dancing trident for repelling. Attacks with this weapon cannot be repelled, but it repels, I believe, right? I'm pretty sure it repels. So this is an extra layer of defense, but also a little bit of extra kill potential. And then luck, right? So that is really cool in and of itself. But in and of itself, that doesn't make these guys, you know, insurmountable. Probably take a lot of PD, but not insurmountable, right? Like when they berserk, they're gonna get increased attack, strength, and protection, but their defense is gonna basically be 0 because they berserk so hard. So, but like for the Hellsword, for example, that's gonna go up to 26 attack, right? It's gonna go up another 9 points, which is actually what? Two-handed weapons are an additional 25%. So, you know, hitting on like plus 11 or whatever, right? So this is gonna be in around the 40 mark, right? But not only that, it's gonna take the chi kick and the gore, which have pretty low, almost negligent damage at this point, and it's gonna bump them into the 20s, low 20s, which is no longer negligible damage. And you're gonna get 6 of these per turn from each of the headhunters. So you're getting 12 attacks per square per turn, which is insane. And that doesn't include the dancing trident, so that's actually 16 attacks, right? Strikes up to 2 times per round. Is that guaranteed? The more enemies surrounding, the higher chance of utilizing all attacks. Gotcha. So not necessarily, but it's just wild. But to top it off, we've got a Viedma here as well with a couple gems to do some shit. So we've got Iron Skin coming out. All right, so that immediately pops them up to protection 24. So they're gonna have insane protection when they berserk. We've got Gift of Formlessness. So they're gonna have liquid body, right? Rarely get afflictions, etc., etc. So they're resistant to all the damage. They do take a slight nerf to their strength, but this will be counteracted by the Berserker 9, right? and Moss Body. Okay, that's kind of wild. I will say I do kind of question the Moss Body, right? Like, so here's the thing. Well, I guess I don't question it. It's just okay. So with the Iron Skin, Gift of Formlessness, and Moss Body, it's not the the Moss Body on top of it. What it's often going to mean is this. So we can just watch, see what actually happens. So obviously against other things, what will trigger, but against these guys, they just never break the Moss Body. And since they never break the Moss Body, they never actually trigger Berserker. So it's such a cool little piece of tech, but we don't even get to see it actually happen. Oh my goodness, it's funny. But the I get the concept, right? So while Moss Body is in effect, these guys have been, with their life drain, they're stacking HP, right? And so what happens is eventually, in theory, with a large enough crowd or with dangerous enough things, something's going to break the Moss Body. When the Moss Body pops, right, they lose a layer of defense, but then gain a layer of defense, right? So the situation being, hopefully by the time the Moss Body pops, they have gained enough HP to where whatever pops the Moss Body doesn't cause, doesn't like one-shot them or anything like that. Which would probably be very unlikely to begin with, but is just in case. And then on top of that, after the Moss Body pops, they will have taken damage. I got a kitty cat. They will have taken damage, so their Berserker's gonna get triggered. So all of a sudden, they're gonna be getting hit by everything, but the hope is that at that point, with protection so high and being resistant to everything, they'll just blender, right? And nothing will be able to hurt them enough for it to matter. I do, right? I definitely see the Moss Body. I'm curious about, right, like the concept of maybe regeneration instead of Moss Body, right? Because if they're fighting into certain things, or maybe regeneration and Moss Body, right? They're fatigued out, that's the issue. And you could give them more gems, probably, but then you're running into a situation of like you're starting to I was gonna say you're starting to really like have a lot going on in them. You could tweak this a dozen different ways, and one way would be slightly better in this instance, and another way would be slightly better in this other instance. Regardless, though, this is a really cool piece of tech. I've never seen Bone Tribe headhunters be used like this before. It's pretty wild. I have seen Bone Tribe headhunters be used just by like, giving them a weapon, giving them a decent piece of armor, and just being like, okay, they've got, Berserker 4. We can use them as kind of like mini thugs in like a big battle or like a little battle or what have you. So I have seen them be used, but I've never seen them used to this kind of like intense extent. And the Berserker 9 concept is just so fucking ludicrously cool to me. I'm just sitting here like, oh god, you could do some neat shit with that. I mean, it is neat shit in and of itself, but like, hot damn, that's really, really quite neat. So anyways, yeah, really interested in seeing how things go between Vanarus and Abysia. Obviously, I think Vanarus has the extreme advantage at this point in the game, right? Vanarus has 3 caps. They have They have been relatively unchallenged for a long time. You know, they had their initial war against Pythium, right? And they had to fight for that. But and they did have to do a little bit of fighting for Phaeacia, but not to the full extent that I think that they, you know, could have. So I kind of feel like they haven't taken major losses at this point in the game, and it's turned 64. So like, God, that they've gotta have some wild shit. That being said, they're not like full scales or anything like that, so it's not like they've just been scaling for eternity here. But I'm really interested to see what comes out of the battle. So we're gonna try to keep an eye on things as best we can, and cross our fingers. So, fort in Mountains of Mist is unharmed because we've got one guy on it. What are we doing this turn? Honestly, not a lot. We're continuing. We're doing the daily grind of playing a free spawn nation, just moseying around, picking everything up. You can see we're starting to like build up a wall of just patrolling mannequins in places, and we're probably gonna try to keep doing that. We're thrusting out into Bycliff to see if we can, you know, take that back. He does have a stack of Knights of Avalon though, so we might bump that. We might bump the stuff from Namor. We'll see, right? Everything that we have out in the field is expendable, and we're reanimating quite a lot at this point. Not as much as we could be, compared to where I think we should be in the game, right? But quite a lot. Continuing to do more site searching just because, and we're also doing a Eye of the Void. We're forging an Eye of the Void. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get off of my desk. You are being a bad kitty cat. You are being like a super duper involved bad kitty cat. Bad kitty cat. So we're doing an Eye of the Void, mostly in slight preparation of Army of Rats, right? So, my God, I can't. Army of Rats! Difficult to negate with magic resistance. So, if we get some pin gear, right, maybe this turns into a situation where it is, you know, I mean, at this point, man's gonna have anti-magic in any major battle, but if we get enough pin gear, you know, we can negate the anti-magic with pin gear, and then, difficult to resist, it gives us maybe the opportunity that we'll catch some decent stuff. Now, we're not going to get... Cat, I'm not playing with you right now. You quit. Go. Go away. Go on. Get. Sitting in my lap, biting my hand. We're not going to get, like, a bunch of Knights of Avalon with this or anything like that, but, you know, if he's got enough Knights of Avalon, if he's got 100... maybe a few of them roll bad and they cause some turmoil in his lines. But more specifically, we might be able to catch things like archers or landless knights or things like that. And that's assuming that we actually even make it to alt or to Army of Rats, which, you know, we're not exactly going quickly or anything, but it is what it is. So, scouts going out all over the place. No new ones this turn because we are getting very, very low. And we don't have any active trades going on right now. But I'm trying to keep eyes primarily on the Vanarus Abysia conflict and on the Agartha Nabah conflict, because those are the ones that we are at least fully aware of at the moment. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. That's it for the turn. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.